Here's a short revenge story about a husband who gets some serious payback against his wife who demanded an open marriage. And you're going to see how very quickly this backfires on her when he starts hooking up with her friends. Not just a friend, I'm talking multiple friends or so-called friends. And of course she loses her mind about it and wants to close the open marriage. Nope, not happening, and now things are really not working out for her. And once again, this reinforces, guys, they want an open marriage and the relationship, whether it's a girlfriend asking a fiance or a wife, end it. It ain't going to go well. And let me tell you, it's always funny when the guy has the last laugh. Titled, My Wife Wanted an Open Marriage, so I slept with her friends. And a shout out to Justin for sending this in. He says, before all this, me and my wife had a good marriage. No, you didn't. You just didn't realize it. It wasn't perfect, but it was not falling apart either. It was a good in-between. She wasn't unhappy with the marriage. In fact, she was very loving towards me and still is to this day, if not a more desperate way. We made love often and did things to spice things up quite a bit, so no problems in that department. Well, one day, she suggested we open the marriage to spice things up in the bedroom. Yes, let's hook up with other people to make our marriage stronger. What a load of crap. Guess what, buddy? Things weren't so good. I immediately said no because I was happy with her and she just insisted almost daily. I'd asked her if I'd done something to make her suggest having an open marriage, and she said that I did, that she just wanted to spice things up more than we already have. No, it's called she's already cheating, and she wants a way to justify the cheating by opening the marriage. I again told her I was not comfortable with and found this, and we left the conversation at that. But she kept insisting daily until I eventually agreed, although I didn't bring anybody home or even go on any dates. Smack! And look where this gets him. No, end it. The second she brought it up, he should have been already checking out lawyers. I didn't go out with other people or hook up with people because I was just still happy with only her. She dated every other day after that and brought men over numerous times. Smack! And you allowed that? Brother over dudes to your house? This guy makes mistakes, but wait till you see how this turns out. Well, every time she brought a guy over, I felt my heart start to break more and more. Like with every guy, I was losing more and more, and eventually that she would leave me. I don't know, dude, her leaving you was a great idea. She's rubbing it in your face. Does that sound like love to you? It went on like this for months until a friend of hers, Linda, suggested I try to date someone. I agreed because I thought it would take my mind off things for a bit and decided I might as well ask Linda out, who said yes. Well, if the shoe fits, wear it. I think Linda intended that. One of her friends. We had a good time on our date and agreed to date a few more times at least. A few weeks of dating later, and I brought her home for fun time, and my wife saw her and me kissing. Hey, the wife keeps bringing home other dudes. Just another chick? She's like, no, this is my friend. She was surprised and asked, what were we doing? Bitch, what do you think we're doing? We're not here playing fucking Uno. I answered with, I'm exploring this open marriage with someone I'm comfortable with. She freaked out and said I could have chose someone who wasn't a close friend of hers, to which I replied that the first guy she brought home was a friend of mine. And after she closed her mouth and looked defeated, then just left. She brought home one of his so-called friends. And by the way, this chick who's hooking up with him obviously is not her friend. This is so fucked up. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, but I'm reading it anyway. Well, me and Linda continued until we were both satisfied, which ended up being in the middle of the night when we originally started at around noon. Honestly, she was better than my wife. A few months later, and Linda asked me if I wanted to have a three-way. Hey, why not? We're already sinning beyond belief at this point, and embracing the Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. I said yes and asked if she had anybody else in mind. Linda says she did, and later that day, brought another friend of Sarah's, Zoe. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I hear the name Zoe, every girl I ever named as Zoe has been a complete hoe bag. That's just, tattoos and drugs, and don't ever need, it's like up there with Jessica. In fact, Zoe's are worse in terms of hoe bags. We had our fun, and it was great. We had three ways with other friends too, Jenny and Samantha. Maybe he's exaggerating a little bit here, but regardless, okay. His wife ain't going to be too happy. I thought it was a bit weird that Linda only suggested friends to Sarah. So one day I asked her why she only suggested Sarah's friends. She answered with, well, Sarah always bragged about how she had mind-blowing SCX with you almost on a daily basis, so when we heard about you opened your marriage, we wanted to see if it was true. And when we found out, we all got addicted to you. I was stunned at this. I had always thought it was just decent. I was decent when it came to SCX. Safe to say that was a big confidence booster. He could be tooting his own horn here and exaggerating a bit, but it is true that when you have a guy that all the girls think is a catch and has a reputation for being good in the sack, or he's very largely endowed, if you will, they all want a piece. I mean, you guys, probably there was that one guy in high school that you all knew that every girl hooked up with because he was the guy that everybody wanted to have. And they certainly all took turns. So that's not impossible here. I can think of that guy right now, and he was actually a cool guy, so I can't hate him too much. Well, then one day, Sarah asked me to talk. She said that she wanted to close the marriage and be us again. After 3 ways and 4 ways and 5 ways and group loving with these chicks, nah. I refused, saying that she's the one who wanted to open it, and I stayed faithful, and that I didn't want to open the marriage in the first place. But she had begged daily until I said yes. She asked again to close the marriage, and I again declined, saying, we may not have problems in our marriage, but something I realized after we opened it was that you never really said anything loving to me. No shit. Her actions is not of someone who loves him. Now this is funny and all, but he should have divorced her right away, but we wouldn't have this story. We just had SCX and experimented with certain things. The last time you told me you loved me was 3 years into our marriage, which was 5 years ago. After I said that, she looked ashamed and stayed silent for the rest of the day. Well, that day, after I went to Linda's house and we had a great time, not just SCX, just watching a movie together while she cuddled with me from behind, which is something Sarah never did. Then she whispered to me that she wanted to spend every day with me like this. I realized in that moment I wanted the same thing. Well, that's great and all, but how do you know this gal isn't going to be doing the same thing down the road? Your side piece, your hookup, your Tinderella ain't going to make marriage material or girlfriend material, but okay. The next day I called Sarah into our bedroom and told her I wanted a divorce. Almost immediately she started begging for me to reconsider. But I already made up my mind about that, and she could see that in my expression. She still begged for hours, but eventually realized we weren't working anything out and reluctantly agreed. See, this is where these things all end up. Begging and pleading, please. Did she show any love to this guy? Well, it's been 4 months since I divorced Sarah, and I'm with Linda now. She and I are very happy and basically in a constant honeymoon phase. Well, the honeymoon phase is called the honeymoon phase because it's only going to go a certain period. We stopped having 3-ways since then, both agreeing to stay faithful to one another no matter what. Me and Sarah recently started talking again, and she's told me she's dating somebody else, which I told her I was happy for her. You're probably like, good, she'll leave me the fuck alone. I'm not sure if I'm going to be friends with Sarah or just someone who will occasionally update each other, but I think we'll be distant friends. Smack! I can't remember if I smacked him earlier for doing this, but regardless, he deserved it. No, you should not be friends with your ex. Why would you want to be friends with her? I told Linda about this, and she said it was my decision. She really is a good girlfriend. Anyway, I guess I'm posting here just to let people know what happened. Thanks for reading this. God almighty. Well, we got some entertainment out of this and got the point that these things don't work out, but honestly, the second she brought that up, he should have ended it with her. And you know how he described it? She kept badgering him about it and badgering him and browbeating him and all that to finally... And she was bringing dudes home and one of his so-called friends. And then she had the nerve to get pissed off and bent out of shape when one of her so-called friends came over. Good God almighty. Where the hell are these people? They must live in California or something like that. But anyhow, guys, there you go. These things do not work out, but good for him. He got to have some playtime, but... I don't know about this girl he's with, but that's his choice. We'll see how it goes. We may hear from it on Reddit in a year.